All right, House of the Lord is one of our great call to worship songs that we have in our catalog. I'll be playing this in the key of A, so the scale tones are A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. So whatever you play, use those scale tones for that, and then transpose accordingly to whoever is leading worship over, either at Southers or over here at Saratoga. There are really for the most part, the keys part is really block chords. But for the beginning, you have in the intros and all the turnarounds through the song. You have this really signature part that comes in really strong. It goes like this. In the bass is I'm just basically covering the beginning of intro, 2, 3. When it goes to the E sus, to D, and then hold that D, to back to the E, and then go back to the A. So essentially that's what I'm doing in the bass line. For the intro and when I'm playing in the chords, my highest note is kind of following that melody of 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. So what I'm choosing chords is kind of to follow that as my highest point, to follow that melody. So when I do A, that's what I play. I invert it to second inversion. And then when I play A2, I'm also inverting that as well. Because this is normally A2. I put the E on the bottom. Then that also works for E sus4. And then D2. The D is covered in the bass. I can just cover 1, 5 in the right hand. 2, and then back to E sus. 2, 3. So you get that? That's just going to come in the intro, and that shows up again after the choruses and kind of shows up at the outro as well. So make sure that it's super strong with that pushed chords and those accents on that. One of the parts that is really tricky is in verse 1. There's this signal note that kind of happens. So it's just, we worship. Break this down a little bit. There's a lot of different moving parts. There's really kind of two sections. There's like an A section of the verse, and there's like a B section. And AA prime. They kind of resound. They're pretty much the same, but there is slight differences between the two. So let me break down within the first section. So we worship the God who was, from that point. So it goes on 1, 2. Break that down. I'm going to count that out. The best way that I can kind of do this is really subdivide this down to 16. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. So what I recommend you to do is, we'll slow this down again, but get the right hand first, really solid and really locked in. Make sure that groove is really locked in before you throw in those bass lines, because those are right on the beat and pretty straight. But with that mindset of your brain kind of doing two different things, this is to do like super syncopated, and this is really straight. So your brain and your hands may not do this exactly. So a little bit. So let me do it a little bit slower and break this down to 2. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. So that's the beginning of that second portion. Notice at the end of that, when we go to sound that. The second portion, we're going to move on to the section part. It's basically the same as what we heard in the first section, but it has that rocking back to that E and the B and the A right there. So here's how it goes: 1, 2, 1 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E 2 E 3 and off. And don't forget there it has that choke on 4. This is really kind of really hard and really tricky, so make sure you just take that time, slow that part down really, and break that down of C and really get that groove. And it's really, a lot of times for me, it's the best to really, instead of breaking down individually, sub it down to 16th like you did, but more of just feeling how that syncopation is. And that's the best way, I think, really to get that more into your feet, into how you're going to be playing. And then the rest of the song is once you come back and finish that and choke on 4, come and hit with those block chords. One thing to note in that bridge, everything else should be pretty straight. In the bridge, there is, we were the beggars, and now we're royalty. So there's that second one, dun, dun, right? So that's that feeling of dun, 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 kind of shows up again in that bridge of, we were the beggars, 3, now we're royalty. Don't play that exactly like that, but that's kind of the feeling that we want in that. We were the beggars, and now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. So let the house of the Lord sing praise. So make sure you get those syncopated, those pushed chords in that bridge. Why don't we take a shot and do this song? Sorry. Here we go. Basically that kind of repeats and goes through. That's basically the song of House of the Lord. Again, don't forget on the bridge, there's that push chords.